Now I will talk about functions. I'm creating a new folder. Now I'm going to create a new file named main.py. Now if I print something like hello, it's printing hello. Now we have already used some functions that is already I have shown previously. For example, print, it's a function. It's a you can think this as a working block. When we use this function, it does something. So this function is already available in Python. We can say that it's built-in function. Now we will create our own functions. Now I am going to create a new file. Functions can be written in the same file as main file, but I am going to create in a new file to show how new files can be used in Python. Multiple files can be used. Now I am naming the file functions.py. So to create our own function, we need to use a keyword called diff. Diff comes from define. Now I need to provide a name for the function. I have provided the name of the function as print pyramid, and it needs to be a opening bracket and closing bracket. It has to be it has to be. And what I'm thinking is printing a pyramid like structure using star signs, star symbols. So this function's body is three print statement. Is this function's body content? You can say these print statements are indented so that it's inside this function. Now I'm going to save this file. This is functions.py. I am now going to main file. To use the function from that functions.py file, we need to import from that file. The syntax is from functions import star. We can also import individual function like print pyramid. We only import the print pyramid function. There may be multiple functions in a file, but we can only import print pyramid. Now we are importing all the things. Currently there is only one function, but if there are multiple functions, the star sign will import all of those. Now I am calling print pyramid function. I'm using print pyramid function. Now I'm going to run my code. You see that a pyramid like structure is printed. So when I call the print pyramid, it goes to this file and it prints 3 lines of text. Now I am going to create another function called print square. So I will print something like a square. So this 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars will create something like a square. Now I will remove this function call. Now I am going to print call the print square function. Now you see that a square like structure is created. This is the print square function. So functions, if I call to print square, then or 3 print square, then if I call 3 print square, it will create 9 lines. We will call the same function 3 times. We don't have to type all the lines, we just have to type the name of the function. So it simplifies our work and it organizes our work. Now I am going to remove the print square function and I am adding a parameter in this function like text. This is a text parameter. Uh, para Parameters are or arguments are messages to this function so that functions can react based on the parameter. So when calling print pyramid from here, print pyramid, we will use a text like we can use star, we can use hash as a text. So when calling a function, we can send messages to that function as variables like variable 1, variable 2, variable 3 or something like that. But this print pyramid takes only one variable or one parameter. So it's it's I am passing only one. Uh, this time I will pass hash sign. Now if I now run this code, I see that the program is not changed. The function is not changed. It's printing star signs. Now, if I need to use this parameter, I can do something like this. I can remove the star and I can use this text. Then for the second line, This is the text, this is the print, and for the third line, so I have used these variables passed to this function. Functions are sometimes called methods. I will tell about it later. Or sometimes they are called procedures, sometimes they are called subroutine, but basically they are similar thing. Now this is the print pyramid function. If I call it with hashes and run, we see that pyramid of hash is printed. If I change $sign, we see that pyramid of $sign is printed. So we are using a parameter like this variable. We are telling this function what to print in the screen. And now I will show another example. Now I am going to create a new file called main.py, and I'm going to create another file named mathoperations.py. Now in math operations, I will create a new function called add two numbers. Add two numbers. Two parameters will be used in this case. Those parameters are a and b, parameters or argument. I am taking the sum of those a and b to c, and now I am writing return c. Return is a keyword that is used to return some variable from a function. That is, you see here, c is the output of this function. When we call this function from another location, this function takes two parameters a and b and returns the sum of a and b to the caller. Now let's see how it works. We are taking one variable called x equals to 10. We are assigning 10 to x. Now taking another variable called y equals to 12. Now we will call add two numbers. Add two numbers, x comma y. Before calling, we need to bring the function in this file. So we need to import from math operations, import star. Now we'll take another variable z2, and here we see that we are calling a function add two numbers and passing two parameters x and y. X has value 10 and y has value 12, and we are assigning this result to z variable. So the output of this function will be saved to z variable. Now we will print the z variable. Print the z variable. Now let's run the program. It's printing 22. Let's see from using debugging how it works. I am creating a debug point here, breakpoint, and using debug Python file, and now it's here. Now this time I will use step into. You can use F11 key from the keyboard, function 11 key. I will use this button. Now I see that if I mouse over on x variable, I see that x has 10 value 10. Now I see y has value 12. Now if I to go inside this function, we need to use step into. If we use step over, it will not go inside this function. So we need to use step into F11. So now we see that it's inside this function. Now we see that a value of a is 10 and value of b is 12. So we send x and y variable, and x becomes a variable in this function and y becomes b variable in this function. Now if we run again, we see that c has 22 value. Now return c. If I step into, we see that c is returned, and variable is z is assigned to 22. That was the value of c. Now it's assigned to z. Now it's printing the variable z. You see that in the output 22 is printed. So this is how functions work. Now I will add another function, subtract two numbers, or subtract two numbers, d comma e. A variable name can be anything. Return d minus e. This is I have written in one line in this function. Now I'm going to the main function. We are now using subtract two numbers, x comma y, passing x comma y to this function. Now if I run this code, I see -2 is printed. So 10 minus 12 is -2, that is printed. Now if I want to add three numbers, then what to do? add to now we need to add three numbers. Then we can add another parameter c, and we can assign create a variable called total, and we can return total. Now add three numbers takes three parameters. From main, I am going to add three numbers. Now I am assigning z to 5, x, y, z, and I can say I can assign the result of this in the variable w called w and print w. We can debug again if we like. Debug Python file. Going to step into x has 10, y has 12, z has 5. Now a has 10, b has 12, c has 5. Now total is 27. Now it's returning total. Now w has 27. Now it has printed 27. So we are now able to create functions and pass parameters to the functions. We can pass any type of parameters like string, boolean variable, or uh, integer variable or floating point number, any kind of parameters to the functions, whatever we need.